Hey, my friend, it's Melanie Ferguson, your host of Creatives on Fire, the podcast where I hope to inspire you to create a profitable six-figure following online. So turn it up and listen in to amazing stories of success, along with behind-the-scenes secrets and valuable tips from, you guessed it, Creatives on Fire. Welcome back to the podcast. This week, I have the privilege of introducing you guys to a new guest that is our first male guest. Welcome, Matt Molen, to the podcast. Matt, I cannot wait to share your strategies and tips on how to possibly 10 times your email list with your company called Email Crush, which is so perfect because you know that I have the blog Southern Crush. Email Crush just makes total sense.
It was meant to be.
I know.
We're crushing. Let's crush it.
Let's crush it. I love it. So Matt, tell us a little bit about what your business is, Email Crush.
Yeah. So I've been helping content creators to, that's bloggers, YouTubers, small business owners, you name it, to help grow their list super fast using tactics that will help you acquire the target reader, the person that you're actually looking for. And we're not talking about Visa gift card giveaways or anything here. We're talking about stuff that will allow you to find your person, the person that you can really serve going forward. And so my whole goal is to help you make sense of email. It's not as hard as you think. And some of the things I'm going to be sharing today, I hope will resonate with some common sense. And sometimes we're just missing that little piece that takes us from this marketing medium that, is it going away? Is it disappearing? No, it's not. We know that it's here to stay stronger than ever. And you can use it to guide your readers, your audience to where you want them to go. And in the process, create a stronger brand, build revenue streams for yourself. It's super cool. I've been in love with email for the last 20 years, and I've had a lot of great success helping people that I think fall into, your listenership to use email to win.
I agree. I think everyone can benefit from email. Ever since I've been in business, I have preached over and over, you need an email list. So we all know we need an email list. If we are just super intimidated, Matt, and just it's been one of those things that we keep sweeping under the rug, putting off till tomorrow, how do we get started? What would we do?
Sure. Let's first of all, I'm going to reveal one of my biggest secrets right now for growing a list. And I probably shouldn't even tell you this. It'll put me out of business because it's so simple and it's so basic. But your existing traffic, your existing audience is your best source for list growth. Now, that's stating the obvious, perhaps, right? These are the people that are standing in front of you, that are learning from you, even if it's in a snap moment, even if they landed on your blog, thanks to Pinterest. Maybe they discovered a Facebook post that you put out there, and they don't really know you yet. They're not so in love with you yet that they want to subscribe to your newsletter. How many people subscribe to newsletters that way anymore? Only the diehard superfans do. And we have a lot of people that aren't to that point yet. They're still at the early dating stages here. They're not ready to get married. They want less email in their lives, not more. So what do we need to do with those people? We need to understand that if we can solve their next problem, we can dangle what's called an email hook. That by offering the solution to their next problem, we can get them to just jump onto our email list. There's a tactic that I use fairly regularly. This is not something that I invented. The concept of a lead magnet. You've heard it called that before. And some people are doing free giveaways. They're doing ebooks. They're doing courses, right? These are lead magnets, which you're offering in exchange for their email address. You're going to give them something of value. But here's the problem with most email hooks or lead magnets. They either take time, money, or a certain skill set to create. If you're not a designer, how do you create this beautiful ebook? And then quite often, they aren't actually very good at attracting your long-term reader. Some of these things end up being grab and go, right? You get a principal out there, you never hear from them again.
Matt, I agree. And I think that's where a lot of creatives get stuck is, well, I know I need email, but I know you actually probably need an opt-in and maybe even a welcome series. That just all sounds too hard, too overwhelming. How about I just paralyze and don't do anything? So how do we get over that?
So I'm going to give you a very actionable tactic today. Of course, there's a gazillion things that you can do. And I use a lot of different tactics. The one I'm going to share with you today is called a quick start guide. All right. What this is a series of 3 to 5 emails separated by one day. And all you're doing is identifying something that is of interest to your audience that solves their next problem. You're taking your existing content. The rules of this game is don't create something new. You probably already have it. And you're packaging it up into this, I'm using air quotes now, into this themed guide. All right, let me give you a real life example. My wife and I, we have a Disney related website. One of those sections is about Disney cruising. Well, if somebody's landing on our Disney cruise tips page, what do I know about that person? She is likely going to book or has booked her first Disney cruise. Otherwise, why does she need tips? So what's the next problem that I can solve for him or her? It is what to expect on your first Disney cruise. Now, this is content I already have. It's on the blog, it's on the website, it's on our social channels. All I have to do is now package that up for that person who is not going to go searching for it. But when placed in front of them as a lead magnet or an email hook, that quick start guide works wonderfully because it solves the next problem. What to expect on your first Disney cruise allows me over the course of 3 to 5 days in a row to send emails that bring that reader back to my website. Let's rewind here real quick. This person found me thanks to Pinterest. This person found me thanks to Google. Does not care about me, my name, my logo, my headshot, or any of that stuff until 5 days in a row, I'm delivering super aha moments, really helpful content that solves his or her next problem. And that content brings them back to the website. That email is super simple to write. We don't need to hire a writer for that. We already know that concept, that content. Hi, Matt. Welcome to day 1 of what to expect on your first Disney cruise. Are you getting ready? Everybody needs to know these things. Click here.
I love that, Matt. And I love the fact that you can use content you already have. So a lot of these listeners are creatives who have actually a social media presence, because we talk about growing our audiences online all the time. And I love the fact that you don't have to have a blog. Now, I am always a proponent for you to have a blog because I think that's where the money is in the email and sharing your blog. But if they just have a social media presence, listen, you too can grow an email list and you can be sharing maybe tutorials that you've already done online that are video content that maybe you even have monetized through, say, a Facebook monetization program. And you're just getting it out there. Again, who cares if the platform is sharing it anymore? You can share it again. Just put that link in there, have it be the 5 ways that I paint a canvas. And then you share those video links in each of those emails. And I think Matt's program with the Quick Start Guide can get you there fastest. I love it.
Let me give you a real life example of somebody who did not have a blog. I don't even think she has a blog today. Her name is Ralphie Jacobs, Instagram, Simply on Purpose. She's a parenting expert, has really fresh ideas. When she and I started working together, she had 0 email subscribers and she had 0 blog. Together, we created something that was a 3-part series called Staying Safe, Why We Yell, What to Do Instead. And the gist of it was to stop yelling at your kids, right? And everybody wants to do that because we all feel guilt as parents. Now, Ralphie is a prolific Instagrammer. She's on constantly. She had 120,000 Instagram followers at that time. Today, she has close to 400,000. She had 0 subscribers. When she went face to camera and kept talking about her new Quick Start Guide that she had created, it was swipe up to get it. Now, guess what happened with each one of those emails? Those emails would redirect them right back to highlights that were in her Instagram account. Okay. That content was always there and they were raving about it. She went from 0 subscribers to 20,000 subscribers in 2 weeks' time. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen to everybody. Ralphie is a special soul, has a very special personality, and people love her. But can that happen to you? Absolutely. And all she did was package up existing content and put it into this thing called a Quick Start Guide, and then just shared it over and over and over again. And people jumped on it.
And Matt, when we have our Quick Start, that's easy for you to say, Quick Start Guide ready to put out to the world, where could we share that? So say it wasn't on a blog, because we know where you put the opt-ins in on the blog, but where would you put it on social media?
Yeah, good question. Most of the best email platforms today have built-in landing pages. These are pages that are devoted just to capturing email addresses. Basically, it's nothing more than staying safe, my 3-part course, why we yell and what to do instead. And you add your first name, your email address, and ConvertKit, MailerLite, MailChimp, all these platforms will give you their own landing page URL that all you have to do is share on your socials. You can share it on Facebook, you can share it on Instagram, you can share it in Pinterest, you can share it wherever. You don't even have to have it installed on your website. Obviously, I agree with you. We should probably, I'm all about having all the real estate for all the email opt-ins, but if you don't have that, just grab one of these built-in landing pages, and it does not have to be super fancy. People overthink this all the time. What they care about, what your prospective subscriber cares about, is the solution to their next problem, not how fancy your landing page is.
Exactly. So you could share this link up in your stories. You could share it on Instagram with, say, one of the link in bio links. You could share it in an actual post that is written. You can share it on Facebook as your little button that says learn more. You could share it on Facebook as, again, a story. And you could share it in a regular post on Facebook. Matt, how often do you think is it possible to overshare your freebie?
I think people on this podcast are going to understand even better than I do the social algorithm challenge. Not everybody sees your stuff all the time. And it feels like when I share it, oh, well, everybody should know about it now. I shared it once. Well, the reality is that only a handful of people are going to see it. You can do it as a short little mention, or you can do like Ralphie did and make a big old deal about it and keep talking about it in all of her stories for a week or 2 weeks. You can do both. I recommend scheduling your social media calendar. It's going to vary depending on the platform, of course. A Facebook page is not going to be shown to very many people, so you can probably blitz the heck out of that. You might want to be more judicious about how often you do it on your Instagram stories, but I don't think you can really overdo it. Most people will probably err on the side of being a little too conservative. Remember, treat this like a product. It's free product, but it provides a solution, and so you should be proud of it. Make a schedule for sharing it on a regular basis, and don't forget that you have it.
And I think that's key, because I think a lot of people feel like they're bothering people or they're selling, but you're not selling, because with Matt's idea, this is something that is a tool to help them. Like, how many times do you go online and Google something because you want the answer? And this is just you serving up that answer. And guess what? You're serving it up for free. So you really can't overshare that, I don't think, either.
Yeah. And one more point on that. The thing that you need to remember is what sets you apart from the rest of the world. Okay? You are a Pinterest transaction in a lot of cases. You are a Google search. Somebody stumbled across you in Facebook. You are not yet a brand to them. Okay? So if somebody joins your list with the promise of solving their next problem, over the course of 3 to 5 days through the Quick Start Guide, they've given you permission to be in their inbox that many days in a row. They're going to get to know you a little bit. And when you deliver awesome stuff, it is going to cement you in their mind now as a subject matter expert. You go from being a Google transaction to being a subject matter expert over the course of 3 to 5 days in email. It is a fantastic approach. And if they didn't want the content, it may not be right for everybody. You'll get Curious George that will jump on there and check it out. That's okay. They may go cold. You may unsubscribe them. They may unsubscribe themselves, whatever. But your overall tide is going to rise much, much faster with an approach like this that allows you to identify your people and they get to know you in the process.
I love that. And real quick, I want to piggyback what I was saying about where all you could actually share this. Don't forget the value of actually make this a pin. Like, make several pins for this quick start guide that Matt's, sharing with you. And that way you can harvest, more from over on Pinterest as well. But diving into what you said, Matt, about making this something that is a solution and helpful, what about the niching? So if you are going to be talking to different audiences? Because we all know that our Facebook people are not the same as our YouTube people, aren't the same as our Instagram people. So is there any guidance on that?
Yes, absolutely. Number one, if you're just starting out, pick your broadest area, your broadest segment, because this is probably better than what you currently have today. I know some of you are killing it, and that's awesome. If you are, let me know, because I want to hear what you're doing. I want to be inspired too. If you're not, just start. Pick one. Pick your broadest segment that you can serve. Don't worry about the others just yet. Learn the technique and the technology and get this done. Then you're going to differentiate yourself by diving into your next biggest niche. So let's say that you serve DIY and crafting and Cricut as part of that. People who are into DIY aren't necessarily into crafting. People who are into Cricut aren't necessarily into all the other crafts, okay? Those are different areas. Pick your largest one and then create quick start guides or other lead magnets that are similar that serve the different segments. This is so powerful for later because you understand who's on your list. That's great for sponsorships, by the way. If you ever want to sell this, if you ever want to get a sponsor to come give you some money to email these people, that's awesome. Or if you're going to create your own products, you know who wants what. It's much harder once they're on your list, once you have a list of full subscribers, to segment them. It's much easier at the beginning to say, oh, this person clicked on something related to Cricut. Well, what do I know about that? Well, I know Cricut's got an amazing affiliate program, or I know they're coming out with a mystery box, or whatever it is. You can serve them in a much better way. What else does that do? That leads to better opens, better click rates, higher engagement, higher relevancy, and ultimately deeper connection with your fans because you're serving them instead of this general, hey, let me send a weekly newsletter concept to let me solve your problems through email.
I love it. And you know what? There are so many things that we could discuss here in our time about email because we haven't touched on the iceberg tip of all of the different things. And Matt is a complete resource, guys. He's got an amazing course called Email on Autopilot that we'll talk about in a minute. But Matt, let's wrap this up with a little bit of help with getting the emails opened. How can we get the emails opened? So we've got them. We know the importance of the list. Some people have subscribed. They did our quick start guide, but now they're on our weekly drip and we need them to stay engaged. How can we get them to open the email?
Okay, two main points, and I'll go fast on this because I think we're smart and we understand these general concepts, but we often just kind of ignore them. Number one, solve a reader's problem. When you are providing value, it is not spam. So the more segmented you are, the more relevant you are, the more tightly you serve your audience, the better your engagement will be. That's probably stating the obvious, but we need to think that through sometimes. Number two, the subject line is the gateway to the soul of the rest of the email. And so do not just half-heartedly throw up a subject line. Think it through for a minute. In fact, I've heard it said that you should spend as much time writing your subject line as you do the rest of your email, simply because if they don't open it, it was all for naught. So here's a subject line formula that you can use. Curiosity plus self-interest usually equals opens. Curiosity plus self-interest. What does that mean? I'm going to give you a ridiculous example. All right. If I sent an email that said liposuction, okay, you're going to be like, I don't need liposuction. I'm not interested. If I sent an email that said, how I lost 50 pounds in 3 days, what's the curiosity or what's the self-interest? Well, we could all stand to lose a few. The curiosity is, well, how'd you do that? Now, of course, that's a ridiculous example, but it illustrates how you can use that formula. So is there an element of curiosity in your subject line? And does it tap into their self-interest that you can actually deliver on? Then I think that you're doing better and better the more that you apply that principle.
What a fabulous principle to apply. What a fabulous tip. So curiosity plus self-interest. And if you are still stuck and you are just like, well, I can't figure this out. Listen, I think that we could all take some tips from some of the emails we currently get. So if you have some that have completely struck you as, wow, I totally don't know how I got on this list, but wow, this subject line, I got to see what this is all about. then keep that maybe in a little folder it's like a tickler file that you can reach into when you do get kind of stuck, right?
Absolutely. I love that tip. That's a fantastic idea. And it's so easy to do if you're in Gmail or if you're in Yahoo, you can create filters from your favorite people that you don't even have to read all of them. They can automatically be marked as read, then go into a folder. And when it's time, you just go in there and get inspired. I love that, Melanie.
Awesome. Well, listen, we're going to have you back on, Matt, because we haven't even, like I said, touched the surface of all the things that we want to know from you. Of course, you can also check out more of his wonderful teachings over in Email on Autopilot. Matt, tell us a little bit about that.
You bet. So I've over the years, all these things that you're talking about, I think that a lot of people are overwhelmed by this concept and don't know where to start. So I created a course called Email on Autopilot, which breaks it down step by step. We talk about the quick start guide. We talk about what to send that will get opened and clicked, how to write emails in today's environment that actually create the engagement, and also that you don't have to spend a ton of time on. Should you do single opt-in versus double opt-in, pop-ups, GDPR, all that stuff that seems overwhelming right now? Email on Autopilot walks it through in bite-sized chunks, step by step, to create a new system. If you are missing that piece of your business because you don't know how to put this all together, this teaches you the techniques, the tactics, and the technology. In there, I personally love ConvertKit. I know there's plenty of great email software platforms out there. In the course, half of it will walk you through how to do this in ConvertKit if you decide to use that platform. So you can learn exactly what to do and exactly how to set it up. That's what Email on Autopilot is all about.
I am loving that. So tell us where we can find you, Matt.
Well, I magically came up with this URL for emailonautopilot.com. You can all check out the course there. If you just want to find me, it's emailcrush.com. And on the socials and all that too.
And we're all going to go crush it with email, aren't we?
Of course. Absolutely.
I love it. Well, Matt, you've been a complete pleasure to have as a guest, and I hope that we get to have you back soon. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, my friend, for listening to the podcast. I'm blessed every single time you come back and listen to an episode. It's especially amazing when you share it with others on social media. So be sure to follow Creatives on Fire online. Listen, if you have not already done so, I want you to go ahead and download the 5 ideas I personally used to explode my online audience growth to a 6-figure following. You can find that at creativesonfirepodcast.com. I appreciate you, and until next time, stay inspired.